What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. My name is Rashay, and welcome to my channel, Chay Unfiltered. Okay, guys, let's get into these last set of episodes. So, this video is going to cover episodes 10 to 12. Everybody should be caught up by now, so don't really have to give spoiler alerts, but I will be talking about everything up until all the episodes that are currently out. So, the last three, 10 to 12. Whew, a whole lot of has been going on in these episodes. So I'm going to, like my last video, break it down per episode, kind of just give you guys my thoughts. So let's get into the messiness. So of course we start off with Hannah being Hannah. I think her and Nick's engagement photos are really, really cute. A cute little outing for them to do. And she just had to, of course, go ahead and ruin it with being negative and saying, "Oh, I'm so much taller than you." Like, I don't know. Some people think that it's just little things, but I feel like it adds up, and I feel like she finds every way possible to take jabs at him. And I don't know why he put up with it, because I definitely wouldn't put up with it. I promise you that. So, yeah. Ramses, my gosh. He's starting, like, and I said this in the last video, he's starting to get on my nerves, like, more and more every day. You and Marissa had one conversation about, the possibility of kids if, like, you guys don't use protection, and your timeline's changing, and, like, just because she might want to have kids sooner than she said in the pods, now you're rethinking your entire life choices. It's becoming a whole thing, and I feel like every time now we pan to Marissa and Ramses, they're going through, like, a crisis. Like, I really don't understand, honestly. And then this whole, like, her not being affectionate to him thing, like, the girl didn't do nothing with you because she wasn't feeling well. She has a severe vitamin D deficiency. She was also going through PMS. The girl she doesn't have to every second of the day be up on you. Sometimes people don't like to be touched. Like, again, he's taking these little things and blowing them out of proportion and making them a whole thing. And then, he's stating, "Oh, it's okay, whatever, but I don't want our whole marriage to be like this." Is he not aware that women get periods? And there's going to be times during the month that they don't want to be touched? Like, I'm just so confused. Did this man not go to health class? Like, any of that? And I'm like, now it's making me really think about, like, his previous marriage. Was this a problem in your previous marriage? Is this what happened? Is this where the breakdown happened? Like, and this is why I said, y'all need to ask questions, because this is what I needed to know. Why your previous marriage broke down. Because if this is how you act about things, I can understand why you guys got divorced, because you be doing too much. I think the meetup with Tim's parents was cute for what it was. Although, if you don't want somebody to call him Tim, or, like, it weirds you out when someone calls him Tim and you guys call him Drake, why'd you name him Tim Jr.? Like, you could have just gave the man his own name. Like, when she said that, I was like, okay, you could have just gave him his own name if that's the dad's name, but okay. I do feel like Tim's mom gave Alex a really golden nugget, though, in terms of, Tim's communication style. Like, when he's in his feelings or his vulnerabilities comes out, he withdraws, and that he gets that from her. And I feel like Alex needed to read into that more and kind of just take that mental note. But yeah. Again, I don't feel like they have much chemistry. She loves to cuddle. He hates to cuddle. He doesn't like to be touched, as Tim's telling his mom, like, she loves to cuddle and I don't like to be touched. But his mom was very, like, wise in telling him, marriage is a compromise. Like, it's a growing process. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to learn each other, and you're never going to find somebody perfect, and you can't look to get somebody perfect. And I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to that later, because I feel like all of that went through one ear and out the other with Tim. So he clearly didn't listen to his mom, but I digress. Now we're moving on to Tyler and Ashley. My gosh. I'm just so over this. Because this man takes every opportunity under the sun to continue to lie to this girl's face. You're going to sit up here and tell this girl that you wanted to help. And first of all, I'm finally glad she's asking questions. Because Ashley don't ask questions. I'm just so happy she's finally doing that. But you're going to sit up here and say that you donated for your friends because she wanted, her and her wife, whoever, wanted to have a baby. They couldn't afford sperm donation and all of that. She gonna ask you, do these kids know what you look like? I don't think so. Fam, what do you mean you don't think so? And, you know, again, could be editing. Could be editing. But no. No, what do you mean you don't think so? Those kids definitely know what you look like. And when, Ashley's like, we're going to take it hour by hour. And he's like, okay, so we're going to try. And she said, yeah. That man's face looked like he got away with murder. He just looked like he got away with murder. And I was just like, nope, I'm not accepting this. Okay, moving on to Hannah and Nick, after doing their little indoor jungle gym thing. We have another scene of Hannah continuously telling Nick about the icks that he gives her. Girl, if you don't like the man, please just say that and stop wasting our time. I don't know how many times this girl has sat here and complained about things he's doing, everything that gives her the ick about him and all that stuff. Like, I'm so over it. If you don't like the man, just say that. And then you're not listening to a word the man says. Like, you ask him questions, but you clearly don't listen to the response, because you're going to ask him, do you think you're ready to get married in 2 weeks? And he says, yes, I am. And she's like, and he's like, meeting the families really solidified that for me and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't care. My family doesn't have to agree with me. I'm still going to do what I want to do. But you didn't answer my question. Do you want to still get married in 2 weeks? My girl. The man literally said yes. And I'm glad he said, like, yeah, I said yes. What? But, woo! When this girl says that, I think you get treated like an equal when you equally contribute. Nick, that should have been your first sign that this wasn't working. This should have been your first sign, because there's no way you sat up in that man's face and told him he gets treated like an equal when he contributes like an equal. That's not how that works. It really isn't. Yes, the man, there's a lot of things he doesn't know how to do, and there's a lot of things he has to grow up about, but you're actually just being disrespectful to the man. And I don't think she realizes that a big thing with men is being respected. Like, you can't talk down to him, treat him like a child, and do all of that, and then expect him to want to be with you. But then again, he seemed to like abuse because he took it a little bit too long. Hoocha! Tim and Alex's breakup conversation. Guys, I'm going to say a few things about this scene. The main thing being, Alex has more patience than me. Because one thing Tim does that irks my soul, and I can't stand when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, is if you accidentally cut them off, which things happen, especially if you're recalling something incorrect. I also tend to be like, but no, that's not how it happened. And I'm not cutting you off to be rude, but I'm trying to tell you, like, you're recalling it falsely, or you're saying something that's false, which is what Alex did. Is when someone goes, well, can I talk? Can I tell my story of the time? My part of the story? Can I talk? Are you going to let me talk? Don't do that, because that's what's going to piss me off. And he kept doing that throughout the entire conversation. Even after the man said, can I talk? She said, yes. Am I going to get to do that? Like, sir, if he did that with me, I'd be like, no, I don't even want to bother here no more. Come on, tell me fies. I don't want to bother with it anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, no, that was irritating me. So she definitely has more patience than me. And the Lord is still working on me, but I probably would have called him out his name or something at some point, because he was irking my entire soul, and it wasn't even me having that conversation. But again, this is why I told you guys the man was done in Mexico. The man was done with this girl in Mexico, and since they got back from Mexico, he's been tallying things against her this entire time. Because for this argument to be about, you're mad that I fell asleep when your parents were here, or because I didn't do the dishes, or because I didn't answer your text message that didn't require a response. It looks very like it's little things, but I feel like it was just little things that were dinging against her because he was already done in Mexico. But he probably wouldn't like me either, because I probably would have took a nap too. The girl was at work all day, had to film with your parents for 4 hours, and had to go out later that day. I was going to sleep too. And you could be mad about it if you want to be mad about it. Like, I actually don't care. And from what I've heard through the grapevine, or like seen on articles, Alex told his parents she was going to go to bed and take a nap for like an hour, and they had no problem with it. So there's no reason you should have reacted the way that you reacted. But like I said, he was already done with her. So it didn't matter at that point. The 1920s party theme was really cute, and must I say, the girls ate down. They all looked good. Okay. I don't know where they got their outfits from. I don't know if it was Amazon or whatever, but they all look good. They hit the theme, on the nail. So that was cute. Um, but boy, Taylor and Garrett have had their first argument. Oh my goodness. And it sounds so bad because I feel like I shouldn't be excited about the fact that they had an argument, but I feel like I was skipping over so many of their scenes because it was just very like normal day-to-day stuff that like wasn't really notable to me. So at least I have something to talk about, is essentially what I'm saying. Um Now we don't know how the day progressed or whatever. And while I agree, yeah, Garrett probably should have told her from the beginning of the day that like um his ex texted him and all that stuff. Like I feel like her reaction to it was a little over the top. Um, but I can understand she only had like an hour to like digest the information and then had to go to a party. So all the emotions she probably would have went through the day to kind of like relax herself, she had to do all of that in the span of an hour. So I kind of understand that there. Um, but then later on for, Garrett, and this is where you guys mess up. This is where you guys mess up. You get comfortable, you're talking to your boys, you forget that you're in the presence of your woman, and then you just start talking and saying extra information that you didn't tell us. So that's when he blurted out that he actually responded to the message. Now, again, I can understand why Taylor was mad because you lied about it in the first place in terms of not telling me about the ex messaging you. Then you told me you only liked the message, and now all of a sudden you responded. Your story is not adding up, so she's now thinking, okay, this man's a liar. And she did mention she's been previously cheated on. However, he told you what the message said. I'm engaged. We shouldn't talk no more. I feel like not that should have been enough, but that should have, kind of gave you some comfort because he shut her down, right? But she was kind of just blowing it out of proportion. All the balling, the balling, the balling. I want to go home now. I'm not 100%, and you're supposed to meet my parents, and I told you if I wasn't. And I'm like, Taylor, girl, this reaction is the reaction that Ashley needs to be having to these three children. And she's calm. Her reaction should be your reaction. Y'all should be flipping because I'm not understanding why this is becoming a whole thing. But I can understand why it was dragged out because, again, this is like their first set of drama. So Netflix is obviously going to milk it for whatever it is because, they're trifling. But I just felt like the scene went on too long and I was just like, okay, I'm ready to be over this now. Now, the last thing I want to say about episode 10 is Marissa as well as Nick seeing Bowden and Katie. Now, I want to talk about how respectful Marissa was when talking to Bowden. Like, she was just having general conversation. It was like literally Ramses was like, I'm going to give you guys a minute to talk. Like, I felt like she handled that really well. They had a genuine conversation, all of that stuff. And, she was still secure in her decision that I know I picked Ramses and I was secure. There wasn't any weird tension, any weird like feelings between them where it's kind of just like, girl, that's not your man. Like, in previous seasons where they see the person that they almost proposed to and then or they almost picked and then it's like a whole thing. I like how respectful that was. But now Katie, honey, you knew better than to really go up to Hannah several times to say, oh, Nick's actually cute. Nick's actually cute. Okay, what's your point? I know he's cute. I picked him. Like, although that's not what this is for, but I know he's cute. We saw him at the reveal. It's good. I know he's cute. What is your point? And she just kept going on and on and on, and it was literally irritating me. However, I do like their conversation because I feel like Nick received a lot of what Katie was telling him in terms about his immaturity and him needing to grow up and him not having to always push forward this like tough guy or suave guy exterior. He needs to really just be genuinely himself because there's more to him when you dig a little bit deeper type of thing. So I feel like he really received what she had to say. And if Hannah would talk to Nick in the way that Katie talked to Nick, I feel like he would receive the things she said more and their relationship actually would have been so much better. But she wants to focus on belittling this man every chance that she gets. Which is it's just terrible. Like, you need to learn how to communicate. Like, I can understand being blunt and not sugarcoating things, but also learn how to talk to somebody. You're supposed to be an adult, and this is why I keep saying she's immature and she's not ready for something like this. Okay, episode 11, we are right back to Nick and Hannah, and they're having a discussion about the party. Now, Hannah's insecure, so I understand why she was like, hey, like, what were you and Katie talking about for like 40 minutes? Because it couldn't have been talking about how great I am. And she also just came off of Katie telling her 5 different times that her man's cute. Like, so I can understand her, like, curiousness and wanting to have the conversation, but I feel like she was trying to pick up and fight with Nick for no reason. And Nick's kind of just like, I talked to her, and that is it. And he made really, really valid points because she's like, well, my fiance and my best friend in the whole wide world. You met Katie like 3 weeks ago, if it was even that long, 3 weeks ago. How is that your best friend in the whole wide world? You barely know that woman. And two, then if that's your best friend in the whole wide world, why are you over here having an argument with me? And she was the one that told you I look cute 5 times. What does that got to do with me? And I'm so happy Nick said that. What does that got to do with me? And she just kept going on and trying to drag out the argument. And it was just like, you could see that Nick was getting frustrated because he's like, what are you even talking about right now? And I feel like with Hannah, when she like it's pointed out that she's wrong or she's doing too much or whatever, she just wants to stop talking about it. Because the minute he started to like get back at her like that, she's like, "Oh, I just want to go to bed. I'm just tired." No, 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 no. We're not done in the argument now because you know that you're in the wrong. Say everything with your chest, please. Let's continue the conversation, even if you're wrong. Not much to say about Ashley and their little go-karting scene, but what I want or what I need Ashley to understand is that Tyler is not a prize for anybody. So no, you should not be accepting the children because you want to win him as the overall prize. He ain't nobody prize. And I really need you to understand that. Please. And like you continuously make this man get away with murder. Like I'm just so frustrated with her, but I try to give her the benefit of the doubt because I can understand she likely didn't know anything that we're finding out now back then. But I am curious to know like what happened when she found out. Like, you know what I mean? So I actually love Taylor's mom's take on like this whole experience, especially with like, her dad not really being on board initially. Yes, she's your daughter, but she's also an adult and she can make her own decisions. She's going to go through her own journey. She has to make her own mistakes. She has to experience things, right? So all you really can do as a parent is just be there and be supportive and support her. Whether it ends well or it ends badly, you're going to be there to support her regardless. And I love that for Taylor because at least her mom has boundaries, unlike other people's parents. Marissa's mother doing too much. But yeah, she has boundaries. And I feel like she genuinely is going to support her daughter in whatever decision she makes. So I really love that for Taylor. Now, I don't really have much to say about the tux fittings and the dress fittings. I feel like it all went like really how it was supposed to be. They got emotional, yada, yada, yada. I do feel each girl, though, did pick a dress that suited them well. So I think that went well. Again, the tux fitting is never really as important as a dress fitting. So, like, no really notes there. But I will say, Ramses's friend, he gives alternative, kind of like Ramses's fashion style. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Hannah and Nick's breakup, don't have much to say there. It was for the best. Neither of them were married. I'm glad we're moving on from that. Marissa and Ramses in that hot tub, I feel like that's the first time that Ramses showed us that he was getting annoyed with Marissa because he made comments about like you jump from like thing to thing and you're just like he kind of explains how her brain works. It's like you're here and then you're here and then you're there and then you're there and it's like I kind of just need a break. I kind of just be like I want to focus on the more important things. Like I'm not thinking about all these little details. Like he basically was telling her to her face, you're a little bit too much. But I feel like she didn't cue into that. But I felt to that and I couldn't shake that feeling at all. I must say, especially after the skydiving excursion with Tyler and Ashley, it's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to make sense. This girl is a risk seeker. So the same way she's like, I've always wanted to skydive before my wedding, like I'm gonna do it, and she had a great time. She's willing to take a risk on this man, and I really really wish she would stop taking risks, especially not in something like marriage. So but it's all starting to like click to me and make sense now because I really wasn't understanding what she saw in this, but it's starting to click now. And now the last thing I'm going to say about episode 11 is that I feel like every time we pan to Marissa and Ramses now, they're coming off of a big life decision changing like argument or discussion. Every time we pan to them now, Ramses is going through a crisis and Marissa is bawling and begging this man. Stop begging this man to marry you, please. Please stop begging him. Because that's what we're not finna do. If you need to want somebody that loves you down and has no questions or doubts about you. Stop begging this man to marry you. My goodness. Well, to start off, episode 12, we get a recap of the entire season, and must I say, this season's been ghetto. The season has just been ghetto, okay? But again, first scene, we're back to Marissa and Ramses, and these people are going through this crisis, and you're talking about, oh, I talked to this family member and that person, and my ex-wife, I didn't realize she took the breakup so hard. Why do you care? You guys got divorced. It doesn't matter if you knew how she took it or not. Like, you're supposed to be very focusing on getting married to Marissa. Like, what does any of that have to do with her? And then you proceed to basically decide you don't want to marry this girl. And what was making me so mad about this scene is every which way. Marissa, are you sure? Are you sure? I think you're making a big mistake. And Marissa, please stop begging this man to marry you. Please know your self-worth. That whole scene made me so mad, and I could understand that she was going through the motions and all of that, but even if you would convince the man to marry you, you're forcing him at this point, and that is going to set you up for a terrible, loveless marriage because you forced him. I'm just like, what? Why? And when they got up to hug, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that his, marina or undershirt, whatever, was positioned weird. But was that man wearing a bodysuit? Cause it looked like a thong at one point, and I was just like, now Ramses. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that it was just positioned weird, but the camera was all up in that man's booty, so they made sure we saw it. But no, Marissa calling her mom. I said, Ramses, run, run. That woman said she gonna cut off your butt. Run. I was genuinely scared for him in that moment, but I think you kind of deserve it. You sat out here and wasted everybody's time. That's really what you did. Why do I feel like the guys always get better bachelor parties? Like, well, okay, not always, but this time around that was really cool. They got to go to a Wizards game, and they also got to go on the court and do all of that. Poor Garrett, bless his soul, cannot make a layup to save his life. But yeah, I feel like the guys had a really good bachelor party this time around. It was really cool. The pajama theme for the women was cool. It was cute, comfy, but it's just crazy because 6 couples got engaged. Okay, well, technically 7, I think, with Leo and Brittany, like, would consider 7, even though they broke it off. But 7 couples got engaged, and only 2 are making it to the altar. Like, that's actually crazy to me. A lot of people broke up along the way that I wasn't anticipating. Like, I felt like I knew Tim and Alex were going to break up, and potentially Nick and Hannah, but I really didn't see that for Monica and Steven initially until Monica started to kind of irritate me a little bit, but I just feel like it wasn't giving that yet. So yeah, but yeah, a lot of couples broke up. Okay, on to the weddings. Netflix knew what they were doing because I don't know if it's just me. In the past, the people who didn't have drama during the season, I kind of skipped through their wedding. It's bad, but like, I knew you guys were gonna say I do. I don't got time for that. They knew what they were doing by putting this one first, so that we sat here and watched majority of the episode because we want to know what Ashley was gonna say. We all wanted to know if Ashley was gonna marry that man. And it's so bad because knowing what I know now, I find it so hard to be happy for Ashley and Tyler, to the point that the girl went in there, she had the flowers for her, the note, and she's like, oh, this is so cute. And I'm like, Ashley, no, don't be excited. And I just felt bad because I'm just like, I should be being happy for you guys, but no, I know that he's trifling, so I'm not happy for you guys. I'm sorry. One question I do have, because when Tyler was sitting there talking with his friends, his groomsmen or whatever before the wedding, do his friends know about the sperm babies? Because or I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop calling them that. They're not sperm. Do they know about Tyler's 3 children? Do they know? Because you guys are here supporting this man and getting married to this woman, probably knowing damn well that he's been lying to her about his actual relationship, true relationship with the kids. So I want to know if they actually know that he has kids and all of this stuff, because then all of you guys are trifling for keeping his secret for him. Like, I'm sorry, like, that just makes all of you guys trifling too. So like, that's one question I had. I want to know how much they actually know. Now, Ashley, you go sit up in here and tell your friends that the only thing that will change your decision is if you just can sense something when you're walking down the aisle, because my intuition's on point. Honey, no, it's not on point because you should have known that that man was lying. Or not even that he was lying, but I feel like for the simple fact that he didn't tell you about something so big as kids, your intuition should have told you, I'm not marrying this man. Whether you guys postponed the wedding and were just like in a relationship and got married at a later date once you had more information and felt more comfortable, like I feel like even that would have been better because you also would have gave yourself enough time to find out all what we know. You just like ignored all of that and still went through with the wedding. Like I just don't. And girl, your intuition's not good. I'm sorry. Ashley's dad not being in her life for majority of her life, everything's clicking because I said that I felt like when they did the whole meet her dad thing, I felt like he wasn't grilling Tyler enough. He wasn't saying enough. He wasn't doing enough. And I was like, as a dad, I needed him to step in and like put that pressure and really like read through the bullshit. But I feel like he wasn't trying to overstep because he hasn't been in Ashley's life that much, or I guess hasn't been present that much. So he would probably felt honored enough to even be able to have this conversation with him, and be a part of the experience for her. So I kind of understood that. But when he was about to walk her down the aisle and he was talking, did anybody clock Ashley's face? I feel like in her head, Ashley's like, damn, daddy, shut up. Ain't nobody care with the yapping and the talking. Because her answers were just like, yeah, like, can we get going? And that's very much me too. Because I'm just like, sir, ain't nobody have time for this long monologue you're doing. It's my wedding day. Let's get it popping. It's about me. Move on. But I felt like she was just over him in the talking. Ashley walking down the aisle and Tyler bawling is no surprise. If Tyler is gonna do one thing, it's gonna cry. That man cries a lot. And I don't know if it's because he's crying through the lies or what. I don't know what it is, but that man cries a lot. So I said, if one thing he gonna do is it's gonna cry. And I'm not gonna lie, their whole vows was a blur to me because I was just too nervous the whole time. Because in my head, I was just, Ashley, please don't say I do. Please don't say I do. Please don't say I do. I wasn't even listening to them. I was just like, Ashley, please don't do it. And then this girl says I do. Oh my goodness, bro. I actually almost felt, this was me. I almost fell out my chair. I almost fell out my chair because, Ashley, why? You married the swindler. Why? And I was just like, oh, poor thing does not know what she's in for. But I really, 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 and I'm looking forward to this reunion. I really, really, really hope that if she found out all this stuff with us, that girl broke up with that man. Because if I find out at this reunion that they're still together, I can't help you at that point. You like it. You like the foolishness. I really can't help you at that point. Okay, moving on to Taylor and Garrett's wedding day. Not too much notable stuff and like Taylor arriving and all of that stuff. I will say, is it just me or did like Garrett not sound confident? I felt like every time he was talking to somebody this episode, it was just like, this is such a big decision. This is such a big decision. And I know that she knows that I have to make a decision that's right for me, and she has to do it for her and for the both of us and all that. And I was like, if you're so unsure, why are we here, Garrett? Like, I felt like he sounded so unsure, and it was throwing me off a little bit because up until this point, you were like, I love Taylor down, and like, I will do anything to marry this girl. So, like, it was a little weird and threw me off. The little wedding hanky or like bonnet thing from her birth that her mom gave her was honestly so cute. And I'm here thinking about like, why my mama never kept nothing like that? I would have wanted that. Like, what? Cha. But I am glad her dad came around, and then like him and Garrett had that cute little moment where he helped him put his bow tie on and stuff like that. I thought that was really nice, and I'm glad that he came around for Taylor because I'm glad I know she probably appreciates that. Taylor looked really cute. I liked the little headband thing. Like it was very Taylor. It gave very Taylor. I felt like her dress, her headband, everything really suited her. So for me, probably I wouldn't have worn it, but it looks good on Taylor. So I think it was really cute, and that suited her. What is with all these 13th marriages? Like, Garrett's parents got married on the 13th. Taylor's parents got married on the 13th. They're getting married on the 13th. Shoot, I got married on the 13th. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, ooh, okay, 13th gang. I feel like Taylor and Garrett's wedding went as I expected. It did take everything in me not to skip past their wedding. I promise you, I literally probably only watched it so that I could give you guys an accurate commentary of what happened. because I almost skipped through it because I'm like, I felt like I already knew how it was gonna go. So I was like, it took everything in me not to skip. But yeah, Garrett did get me a little bit nervous because when the officiant asked him and he started to laugh, I said, oh boy, here we go. Because anytime someone in this show is like laughing, instead of just saying I do right away, or like saying the person's name, like Taylor, you know I love you, or I'm like, ooh, they finna say no. Every time it goes that way, it goes that way. But when he said that, I said, woo, thank God, Garrett, because if I wanted anybody to get married, it was you two. So please say I do. So I'm glad they got married, all of that. Like, I'm genuinely happy for them. I wish I could say the same for Ashley and Tyler, but I guess we'll see. Um, but yeah, that's really it for episode 12, the finale, the weddings. Guys, it has been a journey on this season. I feel like this is one of the very most notable seasons in terms of things that have happened. There was a lot of like, oh my gosh moments. There was a lot of like behind the scenes tea going on. Like, I feel like this season has had the most tea and the most crazy type of tea as well. So it's been a journey, and I'm kind of sad it's coming to an end because I tell you, I love you. I love this trashy TV. It's very entertaining, but I'm very, very, very excited for this reunion. It's finna be poppin'. All right, guys, that is my recap and commentary of episodes 10 to 12. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, do let me know in the comments if you agreed with anything I said, disagreed, if you have any different thoughts. You guys know I like to have these discussions. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell so that you can stay updated on when I drop new videos. And as always, please share the video, get it out there so I can build my audience. And I will see you guys for the reunion.